who would like to recount what happened last time? Because I know you guys felt rather strongly about last session.
I hid, so I have no.
Oh, no one wants to.
No one. All right.
No, I'm surprised. Yeah, you guys basically were able to find your way through the plane of wind in the temple in the plane of wind, and you were able to smash up what looked to be experiments being done by the guild to create large abominations like the one you had fought. Eventually, you made it to the Lord's Chamber, where a very large crystal was being held with the Wind Advisor trapped and dead inside of it, being used as a power source. There, you encountered not only Various' sister, who was part of the guild, but you also encountered the guild's right hand, the muscle of the guild, Enel. A battle ensued, and we had originally gone over a time, but you guys really wanted this bastard dead after everything he'd done. And yeah, he's not a nice person at all. That was pretty obvious. He turned out to be incredibly difficult to fight. Several of you went down, only to be brought back up again, thankfully. But it was a tough fight, and you were able to get around it by destroying the power source that he had been originally protecting. Seeing the fact that he had failed in his mission, he teleported away. And you were left with the aftermath, which was a dead advisor, many dead people throughout the entire temple. And in the roleplay, Amadeus had you guys basically flee the temple while he would deal with the fallout. You are currently now back in Amadeus's home after taking a portal, now that magic is working correctly, after being led back by Styx and Leo. So let me go ahead and get music running. I have a new image for Amadeus's home.
Yes, Alexian chimes. I missed them.
Mm-hmm. Surprisingly enough, as you look outside some of the windows, you see that the weather has returned to normal. The skies are back to being their crisp blue color. The scent of the wind is clear and crisp. Everything seems to be back at peace once again. But you're left with the lingering thoughts of everything you've just encountered. People from not just primordial walks of life, but outsider walks of life being slaughtered and used. Guild members also being used. And just the brutality of everything that they were willing to go through just to cause damage. Some of you had near-death experiences. Some of you had realizations. How are you handling it now that you've returned to Amadeus's home? Amadeus did not return with you. Instead, you were left with Styx and Leo.
Have we gotten a chance? Now, where is this position from where the RP? Like, how long afterwards are?
I'd say you just arrived back at the place. It's only been, I'd say, about an hour. So by this time, Astra and Duncan have been unsummoned. But it's only been an hour, so everything is still quite fresh in your minds.
Including the pain.
Including the pain. Especially the fact that after inspecting your wounds, you noticed that they were actually quite difficult to heal. Many of these would be leaving scars.
Do we also have the baby raptor?
You do, the baby raptor. You have the little tiny baby raptor with you, who is still not doing so hot. It is still a little bloodied, still a little wounded, but it is hanging on.
I forget who had it last. I think it was Rose.
Yeah, Rose has it.
I took it and then gave it back to Rose the moment the battle was over. Which was going to be one of my purchases if we go shopping. Some med kits.
And you're free to go wherever you want. Styx and Leo are not holding you here at Amadeus' home.
Well, the island kind of is.
You can always ask for transport.
Sure.
Do we have any idea where the liquor is?
You do not. You don't know where the liquor is, if there's even any here. What would you like to do?
Various is probably being very quiet and just going off to the side and sitting down.
Okay.
They don't seem to be interacting with anybody. They just seem to be worrying with the ring on their finger.
Now, where are you looking, Tibbs? Like, is there any specific place you would like to look, or would you just like to look randomly?
Randomly.
So go ahead and give me an investigation roll. You kind of start looking through the entire home. You're kind of leaving everyone in the dust because you're like, I need a drink. I need it now. I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is. I want something to drink. You don't find anything. You even go back to the little room that you remember having tea in, and you kind of go through some of the drawers kind of haphazardly, not really caring if anyone catches you in the act, and you don't find anything, at least hard liquor-wise, you don't really find anything boozy enough to get you even a buzz. You find some sweet juices here and there, but nothing alcoholic.
Tibbs,
Yes.
what about Flix?
What is Flix doing?
Flix is leaving everybody and going to go contact Jericho.
How would you like to do this?
Probably with some form of fey magic.
Okay, so I'd imagine that he'd probably give you some means of communication back to him.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say it's like a medallion of sorts.
Okay.
And since magic is working back to normal here, you have no troubles contacting him. But as he kind of picks up his end of the line, he sounds incredibly tired and a bit distressed. When he first picks up, he seems kind of jumpy. Like, oh, who was this again?
It's Flix?
Oh, Flix. Hey. Sorry.
Are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine. I'm fine. What can I help you with?
I need to go forward with my training for, swordplay.
So you've decided to work more on your swordplay. That's what brought about that. I thought you had abandoned that.
Almost dying.
You
Almost dying and watching everyone that I care about almost die.
I'm not going to have specifics, but if you're able to swing by the tavern in the commons when you can, then perhaps I'll have something by then to help you out with that. I'll see what I can do.
Are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine. I'll be fine.
Have you been affected by what's happening with magic right now?
No, it's, politics. Just politics.
Okay, well, take care of yourself.
I'll try. Please don't die on your way here. I guess.
I'll do my best.
Stay safe, Flix, please. And just be careful. And he'll close the connection rather quickly.
Yep. Flix is suspicious, but he'll let it go for now.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Tibbs, you don't find a drop of alcohol anywhere. You found some fruit juices, you find a lot of tea, but no booze.
So Freya's will let Various have a few moments before walking over and just asking, you wanted a moment to speak after we're done. Do you want to wait until another time? Would you like to return maybe to town, get something to eat?
He blinks for a moment, glancing up, and seems to his brow furrows for a moment as if he's trying to remember, and I think I forgot exactly what I wanted to speak about.
That's not a problem. We have plenty of time.
How are you? Seem to slip more into that. You were different.
A lot of things happened. Mostly, the magic affected me a little more than previous areas, so I just wasn't ready.
What is that when you tend to slip? Because it seems almost as if you put on a face, and then, under particular circumstances, it changes.
Not everyone likes who I really am.
Well, you said you were a fiend, so I think I understand.
As
It's
for
all a
now,
matter.
I think I have a few ideas that we probably should have before we go into the next battle. And maybe it's something for Rosa's new friend.
I do have one last thing to ask you.
Go right ahead.
We can trust you, right?
As much as you could trust any of the others.
He seems to consider this for a long moment and nods. A very fair answer. Is there anything you need?
Well, if I'm going to, as it seems, keep everyone alive, I'd like to get some medical supplies.
That seems like a fair decision.
Especially ones that aren't tied to magic.
Yes, that definitely is something we'll all need to discuss if we continue down that path. There... we need to consider ways to overcome that particular scenarios as well.
You were cutting out a little.
Oh, sorry. He says, we're probably going to have to figure out how to cover that weakness in other ways as well. And I think that it will be important for us to figure out some strategies for other things. He still seems a bit distracted and seems to fiddle with the ring on his finger a bit more. I'd like to go back to the Foundry at some point soon. I sent the egg to someone and would like to retrieve it since we aren't dead. And also to likely address my debt to them.
It'll be a nice little detour. Get our minds off things at least. She'll give a few pats to his shoulder.
Yes.
Though I will ask maybe tonight we can check on those cards that I didn't want anyone else to know about yet.
Yes, that's Yes. Yes. I had
By the-
something... Oh, sorry.
Forgot. Oh, there it is. She'll ask, you wouldn't happen to know where we can get some kind of thieves' tools of some. This lock, even though we could probably get the spell off of this lock, we still need to get it open.
Well... I suppose we saw a few shops in the Foundry that might suit our needs.
You also had a rather large marketplace near the front gateway of Wind.
This is true. There's of course a market, and though I guess thieves' tools might be simpler to look for lock picking materials, adventurers' gear, and all that.
Yeah, it probably would be worded a little better, and less eyes brought upon us. Other than that, yeah, I think that's mostly what I got. Just figuring out what these would be, getting some healing implements that don't require magic, and then probably just a little bit of distraction by window shopping.
Yes.
I have some emeralds that have been sitting in my pocket for a little while.
Well, give me just a moment. I'm still feeling a bit queasy, though not quite so bad as before. He starts to stand up, though he's still got a tear through his armor and a few other bits and pieces. Though, could I talk to to Tiberius before we go?
Oh, definitely. You have all the time, seeing as we're probably going to have to ask somebody for a ride.
How about you ask the others if they would like as well? See if there's anything they need.
Sure, we could make a day of it. Good luck finding Tiberius. I believe he's run off somewhere.
He's actually
Probably
approaching right now.
Oh, speak of the devil.
Ah,
I'll let you be, and she'll walk away with a wave.
is it okay if we let Frias talk to others, and then we can go to
Yeah.
Tibbs?
Sure.
Yeah, theirs might be a little longer than
Sure.
Freya's just walking up and going, hey, gonna go shopping, anyone need anything?
So considering Rose hasn't gone yet, we'll go ahead and have Frias approach Rose. How's that?
Okay. I was also gonna say, yeah, Rose was gonna go do something while they were chatting first of all. So since Rose has the raptor, they'll go look for somewhere within the library that they can get the raptor cleaned up and tend to any wounds they might have.
You remember distinctly that Amadeus does have a hot spring, so you do take the little raptor down a couple floors into that area, and the water's not super hot. It's kind of more warm and gentle, so you're able to easily kind of clean the raptor off in those pools. It's like handling a cat that doesn't like water, though.
Yeah, that's
So there's a lot of squeaking, a lot of angry hissing, clinging, biting, scratching.
So who would I
It doesn't
find
hurt.
first? Person making a long distance collect call, or the one trying to bathe a cat?
The one trying to bathe a cat.
There's one other thing I want to do, if I can, before Freya shows
Sure.
up. Is there a mirror or anything in the hot springs or adjacent to there?
Possibly in one of the side rooms, but not exactly in the hot spring room. So you have to
After
go to an adjacent room.
okay. So after Rose finishes tending to the raptor, they're gonna go find a room that has a mirror in it.
Okay.
And with some trepidation, they're going to undo their blazer to get a closer look at the wound they received from Enno.
So as you kind of look over the wound that's on your body, you notice that typically whenever a primordial does take damage or is cut in some way, it usually heals up rather smoothly and reverts back to how it was before. What you do notice is that it almost looks like the wound had trouble closing. There is almost where the cut had gone, it almost looked like the substance that composes your body tried to stretch over it and form over it again. But it's an obvious sign that it couldn't form over it completely, so it more or less filled in the spot. So it looks like the cut is still there, but it looks like just a very deep blade scar. It obviously had a lot of trouble healing.
Bastard.
Mm-hmm.
Then we'll get redressed and make sure the raptor is content for the time being.
Let me roll a 1d20. I'd say it's actually quite mad at you for giving it a bath. It is hissing, it is nipping. It's probably still a little wet around some of its feathers, and it's being grumpy. It does not appreciate being bathed.
What am I gonna do with you?
Dino Nuggies.
No!
Right,
I'm sorry, I had to.
Bryce would love that.
But at this time, Frias, you do find Rose, and you see that the baby raptor is indeed being huffy.
Oh, geez, that's some aggressive typing.
Jeez, holy.
She'll walk up to Rose and be like, "Someone doesn't look very happy with you."
Yeah.
Yes, why?
Don't worry about it.
I tried.
Did I miss something?
Don't worry about it.
It's fine. It's fine. Anyway, yeah, the little raptor even looks at Frias and just gives a little...
Yeah. You wouldn't happen to know anything about how one would tend to a creature like this?
Well, you should probably try it completely. It's probably uncomfortable being wet. And who knows, it might be hungry after being there so long.
Rose goes and tries to pat over whatever wet spots there are on it.
And let me... go ahead and roll an animal handling check for me.
Oh no.
You know, on the bright side, you can't lose an eye because you're a primordial, but
Yeah,
Oh, that's pretty good.
You kind of managed to kind of get a grip of this thing, kind of pick it up gently to kind of look over, and it is indeed wet and damp in a few spots because you didn't take the time to dry it in the first place. You just kind of gave it a bath and that was it.
I mean,
yeah, you'd imagine it's kind of uncomfortable.
Well, I mean, Rose had to get close to water, so it was an in and out job. The faster the better.
Yeah, so this thing's actually kind of wet, so no doubt it is very uncomfortable at the moment.
Well, I'm going to hazard a guess that this thing is not a vegetarian.
That's very observant of you. But another reason I'm here, I believe Various and I are going out to get a little light shopping done. Was there anything you would like or need?
There were some things I was considering looking into. Yeah, I mean, if it's no problem with either you, I would preferred to find out about the time you do and just make a few stops before we head for other pastures.
Oh, we're not going in. I don't think you have to worry. Heck, you could just send us out with a list if you would like. It's more just for the fact that we kind of have some ideas of our own, and I guess it'd also be a good distraction. So if you want to come, it is welcomed. If you feel like you need to stay here and look up on your newfound abilities, that also would be very helpful, because who knows when we'll be back in a library such as this.
Well, you see, heading out was actually part of my reason is because of such abilities. I thought it would take a little bit of time to get some hands-on research, as it were, while you and various gather supplies.
There's just a slight smile that goes to Freya's face as she nods. She's like, "Oh, how I wish I could join you, but preparations have to be made."
I wish I could eat them all.
No, she studies things. What are you doing?
Don't you like? Yeah, but eating things is still studying them. You're studying the palate and the flavor and the composition.
And the shape for wild shape.
Exactly.
All right, let's go for Hopolition.
No. No. Bad.
I mean,
you walked into that one.
Various just wakes up the next morning and sees that there's more chunks than usual missing out of his ears.
Oh.
Suddenly a pink rabbit hopping down the hall. Like, how do you get used to these things?
would Freys really want to turn into a doe near Tiberius? Seems like a bad plan.
She has Call Lightning.
He has absorb elements. That's foreplay.
Oh, this is...
Just can't get by him.
That's the point of Tiberius.
Okay.
But no, her backstory is she studies things in their environment, in the animals, because she's making the book.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was...
I know. I'll take jabs and I'll give jabs back if I have to.
I think it was perfect.
That's beautiful. Anyway,
yeah. How's Various holding up, by the way?
He seems more affected by that move you did, but mentally, he definitely needs a little distraction. Some time outside looking at things, maybe the bustle of what Wind has to offer out there.
Mm-hmm.
Also mentioning that you are no longer poisoned, Various. It has been an hour, so...
Yeah.
We also haven't eaten in a long while, so...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yes, I will inform you the moment we're...
Oh no, someone clipped that.
Good.
Oh no.
But yes, we'll inform you when we're about to leave, if you want to at least get a ride off the island.
Sure thing.
Something with that line.
And if you'd like, you could just leave the list with us, and we'll try to get what we need. Give you a little more time to research.
Yeah, sure. Give me a second here. Rose is going to set the raptor down and then go through their pack and carefully takes out a package that's been previously wrapped up and shown it to Freus. Is going to lightly open it to show the tattered robes procured earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Which robes were those?
The Fey King's robes.
Yep.
Yeah, while you and Various are wandering out, if you could, I don't know, there's maybe like a healer or a specialist in magical artifacts like this, but maybe you can find someone that would be willing to restore this thing.
She'll give a nod, and we can definitely try. If not, Various also mentioned something about going back to the Foundry. They left their pet with someone there.
Oh. I was wondering about that egg. Maybe it'd actually be better if we wait till we got to the Foundry to take care of this anyhow. I have a feeling that some of us are gonna want to stay in this plane for as little additional time as possible, and I can't say I blame them.
Honestly, if you remember the styles we saw walking through, they probably will make something gaudy out of this.
Something gaudier than a Faking's wardrobe. And Rose just does like a kind of a chortled laugh at that.
Gaudy in a different sense. Gaudy as in Wind Temple kind of gaudy, not a Fae. Speaking of Fae, have you seen where Flix went?
Not really. Flix, kind of went over to away from the rest of us, which is a shock if you ask me.
I think I could probably sniff him out somewhere. Until then, she'll actually go in her pack, pull out some of her rations, and offer it gently to the raptor.
You can see the raptor's kind of been doing its little hop, because it doesn't really walk. It kind of bobs like a chicken almost, sometimes even hopping like a crow or something like that. It was kind of doing that along the table where the mirror was. And once you kind of bring out some food for it, it turns its head, kind of cocks it to the side, and will start trying to nip and peck at it from your fingers.
She'll set it down and let them do their own thing and be like, and then turn back to Rose and be like, well, I hope you have fun with your friend. I'll summon you later once we're ready to go. For now, I will go look for Flix.
Yeah, sure thing.
And then she'll walk out, walk into the main area, and see if he's just in that room.
Where is Flix? Like, where is he hanging out around?
He is probably in another room, sort of pensively thinking to himself, trying to remember what he had started with his training and bringing out his old rapier.
Okay. And so you don't find Flix immediately in the main room, but you do eventually kind of hear the sounds of flurried motion, like someone's practicing with something in a room that's further in. So you do you go to investigate that?
Oh, totally.
Okay. And you will indeed find Flix, and he seems to have a rapier out, and seems to be making motions, sword swinging motions and parries, trying to get something down.
She'll wait for the main motions to go on before knocking on the door during their pause.
Give us a second. The drawing tablet just stopped working all of a sudden.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
How hard can I frisbee this Huyan? And I was worried about my 3D printer being loud.
Sorry, I was typing.
It's fine.
It's the pen. She's back. 1 second.
Okay, no
Repeat the
problem.
question, please.
It's Frias, right?
Yes.
Okay. He's gonna look up and just will be surprised to see you. Oh, can I help you with something?
Well, Various and I were going to go check on some of the shops and get some supplies. I was asking around if anyone needed anything or wanted to go.
Yeah, actually, that'd be a great idea. I will come with you.
Excellent. How are you holding up after the whole ordeal?
It was a lot. A lot.
She'll nod a few times, just eyeing him a little bit, but not bringing it any further. Is there anything specific that you might need or any specific place to go? We're going to go just around the shops in Wind and then possibly the Foundry later.
I'll just come and browse and see what's there.
Sounds good. Is there anything I can help you with?
No, I'm good. Thank you, though.
She's noticing a little bit that he's not as eccentric as he's usually, and just nodding and then just mentioning that she'll come and get him before they leave and leave him to his practice.
So let's get to Tibbs and Various.
What was that all about?
We were talking about possibly going out and getting some supplies.
Tiberius is going to hand the glass of wine, air quotes, to Various. Amadeus didn't really have anything, so we'll have to make do with this. It's not actually alcoholic, but I figured a taste of home would give us a bit of a certain visceral reaction.
He hesitates at first until he hears that it's non-alcoholic and slowly takes it, nodding. Tibbs.
Hmm?
I did see what you did before.
I don't know what you're talking about. I did absolutely nothing.
I've seen enough of your magic to know it.
And magic was acting all crazy-like, so obviously it was something that your eyes didn't actually catch. You don't have eyes like me, after all.
Still, thank you.
You're welcome for whatever you're thanking me for, but I did nothing, obviously. Why would I do anything? If you were to die, I mean, wouldn't that make it easier on me?
I would say that you've been suspiciously protective of me in the past.
No.
Still, what you did probably saved me from a premature grave and a prompt.
And now we haven't had
coup
a
de grace.
fight. We haven't had a fight. I couldn't let... That would have been completely wrong. You're not to die unless I kill you. You understand that, right?
Oh, it seems the guild has other ideas.
The guild. Please, 2-bit charlatans.
I don't know. It left a mark on both of us. Takes a sip of his drink.
Yes. Blade was quite interesting. I don't think even my illusions are covering it up too well.
That's something we'll have to take care of.
What, my illusions? No, I've
No,
it's
his
good.
blade.
If you want to wrestle it out of his hands, you're welcome to try. I mean, you see the size of that man?
There are other ways to bring a person low when they rely too much on outside power.
Yes, like blowing up the medallion, which you told me to do, and then I got this. He motions to the now healed clothing before pausing and be like, underneath the clothing, the slash.
It still was a good idea.
I'm not saying it wasn't, just would have liked to know that it wouldn't have caused him to spontaneously erupt into flame rather than cut me.
It was the spur of the moment. I saw him using it to do something to his blade, and it made sense that it was something important.
Now, far be it from me from telling you otherwise, but it did work. It seemed to piss him off quite a bit. And if anyone can piss anything off, it's you.
I am rather good at that, but so are you.
Oh, please. I was born this way. You took some time to get...
Sorry, I just thought of the song. Sorry.
I'm an asshole, baby. I was born this way. Is this the thing you're going with Tiberius?
Sorry.
No, it's fine. But he's pretty much playing up the, you actually had to train to become good at pissing people off, whereas it's just natural to him.
He chuckles slightly, but sips the drink again.
So, about your sister, I know you're probably going to want to punch me for this, but it seemed to me that maybe she wasn't all bad.
She did seem shaken, but I'm not so foolish as to believe that alone means that she could be turned away from whatever path she's taken.
Oh, by the twins, no. You and I both know that. You know what? Let's move on to another subject before we get into another one of those fights.
Oh, yes. You wouldn't want me to trounce you again, would you?
Trounce me? Please. I believe you were just thanking me for saving your life, and if that's the case, then I believe I've won.
Talking about the last time.
I had dust in my eye. From the explosion of fire that you threw at me. I have let you win sometimes, Various, or else it gets boring.
Let me. Yes, certainly.
Now, what do you plan on doing about all of this? We've got the flighty one who's gone off sulking somewhere. Freyas looked as though she was about ready to eat that thing that had fallen out of the crystal. Roast looked as though he had seen a ghost, and honestly, you looked better when you found out your sister was dead rather than what's going on right now. So, do we need to do something here, or is this just a let them heal through time?
We take it one step at a time. He grits his teeth and takes another drink.
Very well. To family, he holds up the glass.
To family.
Ding.
Is there anything you might need while Frias and I are out? It seems we'll be just...
Bloody drink is what I'd need.
Okay. We'll look for some wine.
Perhaps something a little bit more potent. At times like these, back at home, I would go into my uncle's old... You know what? Let's just move on to another topic. Let's just go find something to drink.
Varys's ear perks up.
What? What are you doing that for?
Oh, just got me a little curious is all.
Curious? Curious about what?
You went into your uncle's...
No. His study. It was locked away in the house, and Mother told me never to go into it. But, you know, there was a whole bunch of secret burrows through there. And yeah, I may have found one or two and went there often. It's not like it's around here or anything, so nothing to worry about. He just had
pauses.
He just had this bottle of ancient aged mana wine, and it wasn't even wine. What was it? It tasted so thick. It actually stuck to the glass when you swirl it around. There was only like maybe 3 glasses left when I left the house. So yeah, you know, if I could find one of those again, yeah, maybe it would do the trick.
Now I have an OC question.
Yes.
For Chippy.
Yes.
Would Tibbs have ever mentioned that his uncle was
No.
was in the... So he's never mentioned his uncle?
Not once.
Okay, got it. Various hums and nods. Well, we'll keep an eye out then.
Yes, it's swirly pink and blue, I believe. But you don't drink, so it would be a waste on you.
Very well. He looks up, seeing Frias, I believe, approaching.
Oh,
Was Frias... Did Frias come, like, back in? After they were...
yeah, to talk to Styx. Get the
Oh,
ride.
okay.
Styx is organizing a ride for you guys to head to the wind markets.
So
who's
yeah,
that?
if you want to wave them over, they can come over if nobody else has anything.
I think we're good to go.
Okay. So go on ahead. What would you guys like to do now? Because it will take some time for Styx to call you a ride, and it will also matter on how many people are going and who's staying behind.
Well, we could reconvene in the center, talk about things we found.
True.
Mm-hmm.
And you're more than welcome to do that. Styx does kind of relay that to you, Frias. It will take, you'd say, probably half an hour for him to call a ride, because they do have to get here, for one.
Fair enough.
But you guys can reconvene in either the main room, the tea room is also another option.
If no one seems to be openly going towards people, or if nobody's coming that way, she'll... Actually, Freyas may go back to Rose if nobody tries to get her attention.
Mm-hmm. And does anyone try to get Freyas' attention?
Rose will eventually head back towards the main room.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone know how to get this thing to stop chewing and stuff? Preferably me.
I want to say I do, but my brain is not working. DM, would I know this?
No, what exactly?
How to get a baby raptor to stop chewing on stuff.
Roll me a nature.
Ironically enough, I don't have proficiency in. Oh no.
You've no clue. You've never dealt with a baby raptor before. Not like this. You have no clue. You maybe think it might be similar to a bird or something like that, but otherwise you don't know.
Now, did he say this out loud for everybody?
Oh, yeah, Rose was speaking out loud.
Okay. Can I roll?
Sure. Okay. Various, you're not familiar with this creature, so the DC was a lot higher, but you still were above it. You can kind of give or take an idea that maybe this thing is a lot like a cat, or just a small like a carnivorous animal in general. And you figure that maybe tapping it on the nose, or at least distracting it with something else for it to bite onto, might be the best option.
Various, what do I have?
Yeah, neither of you have an idea of exactly how to do it, but Various, you pretty much figured it's like, well, what if we give it a chew toy?
Essentially.
Yeah.
He wanders over and does it. It tries to bite.
Oh yeah, it's very nippy.
As it's trying to bite Rose, he gently taps it on the nose.
And you kind of see it recoil, like...
It may be teething or something similar. If it's anything like the animals on the farm.
And it's got a lot of sharp teeth. A lot of little tiny sharp teeth.
May consider giving it something else to chew on. Maybe something cold.
Cold I'm a little short of here.
Yes, you distracted by the tiny raptor. Nothing's happening.
Rose... You know what? Rose is going to look around and try to find a book that's thin enough. Something that's maybe like leather or thickly bound then.
Mm-hmm.
And try to, kind of try to coax the creature into, using it as a chew toy for the time being.
Various will heavily try to stop this.
Okay, let's do this in order. Tibbs, what you're trying to find, you can't seem to re-find. You go to the exact area that you remember going to originally, but for some bizarre reason, it's almost as if the entrance has been moved. You don't find anything. Rose and Frias. Frias, do a dex save, or a dex roll, just a flat dex roll.
Yeah.
In trying to kind of stop Rose from giving this thing something like a book to chew on, you instead you do manage to push the book away. You do manage to get in between it, but instead of the book being the chew toy, your hand is now the chew toy. The raptor kind of bites onto it and immediately latches and starts clinging onto your hand and won't let go.
She lets an audible noise and just kind of looks down and is like, worth it.
And you know when cats, especially kittens, latch onto something, how tightly they grip onto it and start kicking with their back feet? The raptor's now doing that to your hand.
She's just gonna look up at Rose and be like, not the books.
Rose is going to try to copy what Various did and just tap in the nose again.
Go ahead and roll an animal handling.
Please get above a 5. I feel like this will be hit points at this point.
Yeah, you do kind of follow exactly what Various did, and you kind of tap it to distract it a little bit. You kind of tap it on the nose a little hard, and it lets out a yip as it stops biting Frias' hand and kind of lets go.
Your sacrifice is appreciated.
Look through my inventory, see if I got anything.
Give it a dragon bone.
Oh, idea. Can she make like a small like monkey's knot or something out of the hempen rope?
She can.
Sacrifice like just a few feet of it to do that?
You bet. I will. If you take 5 minutes to do that, I will let you do that without a roll.
I'll definitely take 5 minutes to do that.
All right.
Tell Rose, like, hey, this is what I'm gonna do.
Sure, go for it. And so for that, at least in that advent, go ahead and add a rope, a monkey's knot rope to your inventory, Rose, and kind of label it as a chew toy.
All right. And yeah, once I guess once Frias finishes with that, then Rose would just set the raptor down on like a large table somewhere where it has like, you know, plenty of room, and then just try to keep it placated with the rope.
And it takes to the rope just fine. It more than happily chews on the rope itself.
So,
Actually, back to Various wanting to talk to Rose. How close is everyone? I know Various walked up to do the whole snoot boop.
Various is not there.
Yeah, Tibbs is not there.
Oh, I meant Various. My bad.
Mm-hmm. But Various, no, he's pretty close by to both Frias and Rose.
Is anyone else there, like Leo or?
Is Leo there, Jin? Where would he be right now?
He'd probably be sticking with Styx, though he can be probably nearby.
And Styx is off working on getting transport set up, so he's nowhere near you guys.
And where's Flick?
Where is Flix? Is he still practicing with the sword?
No, Flix is going to come out now because he wants to do some shopping.
Distract yourself with shopping. That's the way to fix any problem, right?
It's the Fey way.
But yeah, so the only one missing right now is Tibbs.
Freyas will keep that conversation in the back of her mind for now.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't have to. It's an open invite.
I say about this time, Tibbs, you kind of come back from your botched investigation attempt. You see kind of everyone around talking a little bit. This seems to be the little raptor that they found is now playing with a rope toy. But yeah, everyone's back in the same room again.
Oh, good. Have you given it a name yet, or is it still rations at this point?
Rations? You fucking monster.
We've named it Wendy's. We started this joke. I'm going to go to the grave with it now.
This was a serious line from Tiberius. He's seen you all eat meat, goddammit.
Yes, but this one's pet meat.
I'm going to take your chances. Rations would be a no, then.
Well, considering it seems to respond well enough to being touched on its snout, I think for the time being I'll just call it Bop.
You're touching it on its snout. It does not consent to that action, you sycophant.
Oof. Someone's.
Ooh, interesting implications.
I mean, Boop is
No.
What are you all doing here anyhow? Shouldn't you be resting or whatever it is you do?
Oh, very shortly some of us are going out to get some supplies. You're welcome to join us or leave us a list.
That sound he just made.
I just imagine he got a warhead or something lemon in his face and it's just scrunching up.
Yeah, that's... You lot can go and do your shopping without me. I'll stay here and make sure Amadeus returns at some point or something. You know. No, I don't want to go with you.
Exactly.
Liquor.
I'm surprised Flix didn't give you any of the fairy wine that I have no idea where he hides at all.
This will last me about 5 minutes. Excellent. You all go off and do your merry shopping, and I will care for this bottle.
Someone in chat decided to say Tibbs was that kid who had to carry 6 boxes worth of stuff, wasn't he?
6 boxes worth of what?
Stuff.
Being told to stand quietly while mommy shopped and being forced to do that for hours on end would cause that kind of response, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And no, they didn't get ice cream after.
But around this time, as you all start to gather up, you do see a familiar face in Styx as he kind of comes up, and well, actually the smell hits you before the appearance because the smell of cigarette smoke. But he does kind of arrive and slouches with one hand in his pants pocket and's like, "All right, well, your ride's here. So who all's going? And who else do we have to babysit?"
Wait, babysit? Babysit what?
Whoever decides to stay here.
I'm pretty sure he's going to be babysitting himself after the bottle's gone.
Please, I can hold my liquor quite better than you can, Freas. No offense intended, but I've been drinking since I was... You know what? We're not going to go there. We've had a rough day. I'm being civil.
Perhaps you can look after him, Styx.
Please,
sure
no.
Something.
There's a reason I said babysitting, after all.
Yeah, don't mind Boop over there on the table. Just so long as you don't have them chew through any more of Amadeus' books, then you should be good.
He kind of gives you a long stare. It's like, you named the thing? Huh. Honestly, I'm surprised you guys just didn't throw it out.
What else was I going to call it? Sir Chomps-a-Lot?
I'm surprised none of you tried to eat it yet.
Okay. He could call it Troy.
I mean, it's just a little tiny pocket raptor. I don't even think that thing's gonna last very long if you decide to take it with you. I mean, unless you guys got a place to keep it.
We know.
And if you have a house here or anything, like, or are you just gonna keep carrying it with you until it eventually dies from whatever exposure where you guys go?
Ah, so Styx, what you're saying is that you'd like to take care of it. Excellent.
Hell no.
Well, you have a house here, this entire giant library of...
This isn't my house. This is Amadeus' house. I live in the plane of fire. Leo here lives in Earth.
But then we'll just simply have to talk to Amadeus. I'm sure he would want to let this tiny little thing die by going on adventures with us.
Look, we can work out the adoption thing later. Let's just go do our duties and go from there.
Honestly, if I had a better idea, that dealer that Various got that egg from, they might be interested. As a last resort.
Wait, a dealer? For what?
No. We'll figure something out. We'll figure out some place to stay.
Well, it seems to be just us four. So... yeah.
Well, we've got a few cells we could probably stuff your friend into so he doesn't try to do anything stupid.
Please. The stupidest thing I've done is the most ingenious thing you've come up with.
Yeah, but I don't trust a crazy sorcerer who has a penchant for wild magic going around drunk inside of a friend's library.
Excuse me, I have no penchant for wild magic. It's perfectly contained without those things around here.
Sure it is. Look, you either get to sit in an anti-magic cell until your friends arrive, or you go out with them. That's your choice.
Anti-magic Excuse you?
What, you think this place is just a library? There's more to it.
Of course there is. Yes, just a library, of course. I feel like going shopping all of a sudden.
If you need Tibbs, we can probably find you a place where you can sit and enjoy a good meal.
Plus, I hear that they give free samples of booze at some of the vendors at the market.
We are going to these vendors for booze. Will you be joining us to point out these vendors that give out the free booze?
I mean, they're pretty obvious. They'll have the giant barrels out.
Barrels, check. Just before we leave, are you ever planning on sharing any of that information on the guild that we're in the crosshairs of? Or is that something that we'll have to decipher on our own while back here?
We'll see. If you guys decide to come to us again in the future, perhaps we'll delve into a bit of that. But right now, consider our partnership ended.
Oh, that's quite formal. Very well.
You act as if it's our fault.
They'd have to, or else they'd have to take responsibility, Darius.
Yeah, because we're the ones taking the fall for what happened at the temple here.
We didn't do that.
That might be the case, but the thing is that we still have to explain why all this happened.
If you haven't noticed, Darius, they're not very keen on outsiders, so as soon as we would have been seen, our heads would have been severed from our necks, and we'd be one of those things.
I realize that, but what I'm saying is that Styx is acting as if it's our fault, when it was not. And in fact, we did more to fix the situation than not.
Darius, you know how politics work back at home? Multiply that by 0.5 here.
And you seem to be misreading my tone. I ain't blaming you for nothing. In fact, we're quite thankful that you decided to go into the temple. Pay in mind, you do seem to be downplaying the fact that we kept that thing away from you guys at the risk of our own lives.
Yes, and we managed to finish it off at the risk and near loss of our own. So I'd say we're even.
That's what I was getting at, but at the same time, we're having to take the fall for everything else that happened. But, in the same way, we're keeping your names clear.
You know what's needed right now? Shopping. Let's go.
Hands off the ears.
Sit down.
Ah, my ears!
Anyway, there's a transport waiting out in the front for you.
Very well.
Alex, put me down.
Never! Out the door.
Let's go. He trods outside.
So Flix, Tibbs, and Darius are heading outside. What about Rose and Frias?
Oh, Freeze has been gone.
Oh!
Chat.
Yeah, Rose will head out with the other three.
And you guys begin your way out of the manor. You kind of go through the cavern itself and kind of wind your way back down to the least where you remember the entrance of the labyrinth being. And of course, instead of going through the labyrinth, you are taken outside into the mountain path. You guys kind of wind your way down into the dock area, and instead of seeing a cart there, you see a large manta ray kind of creature that has actual established seats on its back. It almost looks like a construct, in a way, that's keeping itself lifted up by magic. It doesn't seem to have a driver, though.
Ah, automated taxis.
You said magic. Does it look strange?
It doesn't really look bizarre or strange, but you can definitely see that there's magic coursing underneath the plates that kind of make it up. You can definitely tell it's a construct.
Ah. Like the Eidolon.
Mm-hmm. Very much.
Looks rather aerodynamic.
Hurry up. Booze is awaiting us, and it won't be consumed while we're standing here. Get in. Mother's not around, so everything's fine.
Freya's pops out. That's what you think.
Yeah! How long have you been there?
While you guys were talking about booze, I was already walking out.
We were not talking about booze. We were simply speaking with Styx about the repercussions of political engagement.
Yeah, I wasn't there, so just get in.
I'm doing so of my own accord.
Just so long as Tibbs is not the driver.
What is that supposed? We got here perfectly fine last. No, I can't.
And from the looks of it, again, there doesn't seem to be a driver, but there are almost bench-like style seating on it. It's quite a large construct, and it seems to be rather easy to get onto. But and there are seatbelts on this thing, so this thing was obviously designed with transport in mind.
Tibbs is going to ensure that wherever he sits is not across from Various.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason.
Various clambers up.
Rose will take their own spot, and then we'll just shut their eyes and cross their arms after they're strapped in.
There's no storms, Rose. You don't have to be worried about falling off. Look, these tiny little things are made to go across your waist and keep you in.
Yeah, and that was... Let's just... More straight flying, less loop-de-loops this time, alright?
I mean, that poor sod fell himself into the oblivion, so pretty sure we'll be fine.
Is everyone on board?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And surprisingly, it doesn't take off very quickly. It almost seems to hover out of the dock and has a very kind of a gentle motion, as it seems to actually be going slower than the cart driver. So it's going at more of an even, safe pace.
Yay, momentum mechanics.
This is insufferable. Why are we going so slow? The alcohol is going to dry up at this point.
But it's definitely a much calmer ride, so you do not need to make constitution saves. In fact, it's actually kind of peaceful and relaxing, so you have the chance to take a short rest.
Yay!
Mm-hmm.
And you may talk amongst each other during the duration as well.
Okay. Everybody, I think, is just like, oh, let's get there.
Mm-hmm.
Can this thing go any faster? This is slow. What is with this? The last time we came here was half this much time. At least there was some loop-de-loops to keep us entertained.
I can't hear you.
Oh, second of all, thank you very much, Flix.
Occasionally you do see islands passing by, islands that you hadn't seen before, considering the storm that was covering the entirety of your vision. So you see some settlements on smaller islands, you see floating mountain ranges with vortexes of water that seem to be pouring off into the abyss, that seem to be almost endless. And it's surprisingly a very quiet, peaceful, and gorgeous place, even with the endless sky below you.
After realizing that this isn't going to become a roller coaster, Rose will eventually open their eyes and... Oh. Alright, this is a lot more easygoing than I was anticipating.
And the manta ray-shaped construct is almost swimming through the air. Its fins are not flapping or anything, it's just kind of gliding. It's a very, very smooth ride. Which, of course, is boring to Tibbs.
Incredibly.
Just looking at my sheet, I have nothing to make it say.
Mm-mm.
Oh, wait a second. Odometer.
What are you planning?
Oh, I don't have any ideas, unfortunately. I just know it's a spell that exists that I have.
But I would say it takes about 3 to 4 hours, so a pretty, what would say, a smooth car trip in a way.
And it
That it
got
would
here in
take-
half an hour? What?
It was because it was on a neighboring island.
Oh, okay.
You've passed a few of those islands, so there are closer islands, of course, but since you're heading straight away to the main market, it's going to take longer.
Uber Manta was completing a previous trip.
Fair.
But eventually the large island with the massive gateway on it does start to come into view. And you can see that still the weather's peaceful, but you notice that the sky is actually starting to get dark. Not dark stormy, but more as it seems like there's a figurative sun that is setting, with the sky itself getting darker and darker, and you start to actually see little blips of light that would take the shape of stars. And of course, you start seeing lanterns lighting up all throughout the islands, giving almost kind of like you're looking at the starry night sky from all angles, not just the sky itself. So there obviously is a night and day here. But eventually the construct begins to lower its descent over to the docks of the main island. And after a seemingly long journey, with being incredibly uneventful and calm, the manta ray construct comes to a stop at the docks, and you're allowed to get off.
Before Grace will try to be the first one off, and then basically like make sure everyone's together, making sure nobody tries to run off. She's going.
You want us all to hold hands, Dungeon Mom?
No.
Oh, I think we need a rope.
We probably do need a rope, in all honesty.
I was going to say we should
Oh,
meet
childish.
over by the Foundry gate in about 2-3 hours, so we don't have to be tied together. I'm sure you're all adults, and I think you can handle yourselves.
Have you met our party?
Laughs in Tiberius.
She just shakes her head and just, in 3 hours, just go meet by the gate.
Is that... Are there even cardinal directions here? What is north?
I didn't
don't
say
know.
north, I said the gate.
Yes, but there are multiple gates to the Foundry. You know this.
There's actually only one large gate on this island, and you guys saw it on your approach.
Oh, that
Exactly. Yeah.
Big gate.
one. So the biggest one, then.
Yes, we'll meet by there in 3 hours. Just don't get so drunk you can't see.
No, please.
I just arbitrarily point north out because feet.
And it's actually the opposite of the gate.
Excellent. So the southern gate. That'll be easy to remember. Let's go find those giant barrels full of alcohol, Varys.
I have some other things to look for, if that's all right.
Fine, we'll find your other things first, then the booze.
Turn order? Oh no.
I will be using this to take kind of to keep track of where everyone will be and who's going where. That's all.
I think the plan so far, as it looks like, Tibbs, Varius, Freyas, and Flix are going to be doing some shopping, and Rose is going to examine animals.
So give me a second, because I'll add your tokens to the quote-unquote map, just so you can use them for the turn order. If it'll let me. No. Okay. So let me do this real quick. So I'll put Frias right here. Why can't I put things on the later?
Yes?
Sorry.
Oh my gosh, I'm giant!
Hold on. I gotta make a small.
Oh, now you're tiny.
I'm flying.
You're flying!
gonna put you guys in the corner there. Over here. Thank you, Tibbs. There you go.
Oh, let me see again.
Oh, Tibbs is actual size now.
Hey! He's just, you know what, that's actually accurate.
This is just for the turn order, so.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want us to actually roll initiative, or?
Mostly, it also depends on where you guys plan to go, who you're going to be with. So, if you're going to go in groups, have one initiative per the group. And if you're going individually, have your own individual initiative.
Tiberius is boringly following Various because Various has very boring things to do.
And where is Various going with anyone else?
I believe Various is going with Freyas to the shop.
Okay, so Tibbs and Various will have Freyas's initiative. Flix and Rose, what do you two plan to do?
Flix is going to be going to look for special armor.
Okay, Rose?
Rose is going to try to see if they can find anything like a I don't know, some kind of creature sanctuary or farm just somewhere where there's generally wild creatures that are either domesticated or at least are available to the public.
Okay. So I need to hold up, check it down here. Add turn. You are a 7. So if Flix is on his own, go ahead and roll his own initiative. Wow, okay.
Flix wins.
Flix definitely wins to go first. So let me add him in.
I'm just picturing, like, it's landing, the Flix is already off, and everyone's like, we haven't even done our buckles. How the
Faye, super fast.
I like how we're all moving them to the ground. Because
This is fine.
we're like, they need to be on ground.
But, alright. As you all kind of get onto the main island, the market has shifted into more of a night market feel, with the sky now being dark and kind of dotted with little glimmering speckles of light. The lanterns are all lit up, so you have a bunch of paper lanterns that are strung up in strings, lighting your way in the actual market itself. Some are floating, some are not. But the market is open to you guys, which means, Flix, you are first. Where would you like to go, and what would you like to do?
Okay, so I am looking for a shop that would specialize in what's the armor hunt? Is it chain? That's what
scale.
Scale. Scale that I can like
base scale armor.
Yeah, it's like phase scale armor, but that can be transmogged into like what I showed you, Nova.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's looking for.
Okay. Give me an investigation.
Oh boy.
Because you're kind of going through this market, you're kind of looking through each of the stalls, and you're not really seeing anything specialized in the stalls itself. But as you kind of move through, you notice that there's more established buildings. In fact, there's actually one that looks like a tailor shop next to a forge. And you kind of have the feeling that this might be the place to find something like that.
Okay.
You do have to go inside for this one, as it is a building.
Yeah, I'll go inside.
Okay. And inside, it's actually rather pleasant inside. It's got a big, nice open-air forge that kind of has this whole wall that's been knocked out for all the heat to escape. It's got mannequins with different types of armor on it, some more robe-like, some with leather, and some have glimmering scales, in fact, which seems to be something you're looking for. The tender to this, there's actually 2 people here. One that's working the forge at the moment, which seems to be sort of a more burly-looking individual that seems to be made out of crystal, pure crystal, like even see-through at this point. Wow. But there is a much smaller, almost daintier, pig-looking figure that looks to be like, you know, those pigs of fortune from Chinese folklore?
Yeah.
Kind of like that, and he seems to be has a necklace made out of bells. He's kind of dressed kind of jolly and kind of cutesy and stuff like that. But he seems to be working with a needle and thread at the desk.
Okay.
And as you enter, the pig-looking creature does look up.
Sorry, Nova, can you repeat that? My little one was laughing.
The pig basically looks up at you and it's like, welcome, traveler. Can we help you?
Yes, I am hoping you can. I am looking for specific type of Fey scale mail to help with protection in combat, hand-to-hand combat.
Oh, well, we do have some Fey scales in stock, at least at the moment. Are you looking to have something made custom, or are you looking for something that's more generally produced?
Made custom would actually be more preferable.
Okay,
than
okay.
it's like a glove.
Now, with custom orders, it does take a little bit of time, since we have to make it by hoof. He kind of holds up a cute little pig hoof.
Yep.
But with enough time and compensation, I'm sure we could do that.
What is the time limit for such?
And you see the little pig kind of hop down from its chair. It's almost like a booster seat, and it kind of waddles out from behind. It's only about 2 feet tall. It's kind of cute and small and chubby, and it kind of looks up at Flix and kind of circles around you. It's like, I'd say for your kind of build, maybe about 2 days, 2 or 3 days.
2 or 3. Okay, yeah, I can do that.
Mm-hmm. Now, what if you have materials already, just to kind of get the shape of everything? I'd be more than happy to tailor that. That would be good compensation, I think. Or do you have something else in mind?
So what Flix will do is he will pull out some paper and sketch up what I showed you, Nova.
Uh-huh.
Base idea, because it's pretty much based off of kind of like what Jericho wears.
Yes. And you definitely see the pig's its eyes are normally closed. You see them kind of open up nice and wide, cute little black eyes. It's like, ooh.
The piggy reminds me of Truffle, so I love the piggy.
Oh yes, most certainly. I could easily do this in about 2 or so days.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. That'd be wonderful. How much would I owe you?
Well, since money really isn't much of an issue here, do you perhaps have any precious gems or any sort of enchanted items that would be willing to trade? I might even be able to incorporate them into the design itself.
I will hand him the flute.
And as you kind of hand the flute over, you see the pig kind of take it into his little hooves and looks over, and it's like, and can actually see the pig lean in and sniffs it and kind of goes, ooh, oh yes, this will do just nicely, actually.
Wonderful.
And before it turns out it's a cursed flute.
Yeah. Now it's cursed armor. Damn it. So I will be back within 2 days then to pick it up.
Sounds wonderful. And
Perfect.
even if you're a little late, we'll still have it here on display. May I get your name, please?
Flix Reginald Oakwish.
Fantastic. I will make sure to get your order ready in a few days, Mr. Oakwish.
Perfect. And Truffles will sort of like start from behind me.
And
I like earwave at the other pig.
And the little pig gives a nice little wave of itself, like, aw, you have a little friend.
Yes.
But yes, Mr. Oakwish, come back in 2 days and we should have your order nice, ready, and polished.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for your business.
Yep. So Flix will go on his way.
Mm-hmm. So we'll move over to Rose. Rose, what are you looking for?
Yeah. Rose is looking for... what's the best way to describe this? They're just trying to see if there's maybe, like, any sort of thing where there's, like, sort of wild creatures on display, or there's, like, a sanctuary, or... I don't know, Sanctuary Humane Society, something like that.
In particular, as you begin to wander the market, you kind of move past them into more of the open space of kind of the area of this main island. And you don't quite find a zoo or something like that, but you kind of find a paddock that seems to be filled with four-legged creatures that seem to be made up of fluffy, air-looking wool. and they are being tended to by a wind primordial who actually looks to be sleeping on the job. So you kind of see them in the middle of the field, leaning against a cane and sleeping. You almost confuse them for a scarecrow at first. Who? What? What? And you kind of see this wind primordial kind of shake awake, like, what?
You got a moment there, buddy?
Oh. Hey, sup? What can I do for you?
Yeah, I couldn't help to notice you. I assume you're the one who tends to these creatures?
Oh, yeah, these are puffle sheep. They're, wind-based imbued creatures that were, brought here. We kind of use their wool for making clothing and the like. Real soft,
Oh yeah, that does sound very lovely. Actually, maybe you could help me. I'm doing a little bit of personal research on creatures native to wind, and I was hoping to maybe glean some insight into their characteristics.
Well, it depends what you're looking for. I mean, I take care of the sheep. I take care of a few other animals here on the island too. I was just gonna get a little nap. And the individual looks like your standard wind primordial. They kind of seem a little featureless. Their hair is really curly, but almost takes up a majority of their head, almost like a sheep would. And they're wearing traditional wind garb, kind of the loose, windy sleeves, and pretty much very loose-fitting, almost pajama-looking clothing.
Mm-hmm.
And the typical light green colors.
You said there's other creatures like these that you also look over?
Oh yeah, we got the puffle sheep, and of course you got cloud cows. They tend to be a little bit harder since we gotta tether them down or they fly away.
Mm-hmm. Well, more.
We got dragons too. Wind element dragons.
Dragons, you say?
Well, yeah, they're pretty much the most common pet around.
Do you think I'd be able to get a look at one of these dragons?
Oh yeah. You kind of see the one primordial move over and kind of hop over the fence. I mean, it depends on the breed you're looking for. We got like little tiny ones. He kind of motions with his hand, kind of like bird-sized. We got ones that are like big as the puffle sheep. There, we got ones that are big as horses, like the ones you find in Earth.
I'm really looking more towards the larger end of the spectrum. More specifically, I'm wanting to see what sort of unique abilities these creatures have, particularly for, say, self-defense or preservation.
I don't know much about that one, I'm afraid. I just kind of tend to them. I don't study their biology or nothing.
Do you know someone or somewhere around here that would specialize in that?
Hold on. Sorry, I was being asked if I was willing to eat French toast that's made with eggnog. But, do you have a list of the creatures that you can learn from still, East? I can't seem to find my copy of it.
Shoot, I can pull that up real quick here.
Just so I know what potentially you might learn from stuff here in Wind.
Okay, this might take me a little bit to look through my my bookmarks here.
Yeah, because I can't seem to find mine.
Oh, wait, I think I might have just... I think I just saw it. Hold on.
I could have sworn I had a bookmark, but I guess I don't.
Okay, it's in the OOC channel.
Excellent. Hi, Dinks. Nope, I need to search. find.
No, Chippy, that's what Boop is for.
What is for?
The pocket raptor. It's nose prominent projectile.
Yeah, okay, throw it on someone's face here as a distraction. That's pretty much what Rose was asking.
Rose?
Trying to find this real quick.
Well, he was asking if there was a defensive use of these things, right? I mean, throwing
that's
someone in
right.
the face. It's like icing sugar in the face. You blind them and then you just run away while this pocket rabbit goes crazy on their goddamn features.
That's what the pocket bacon is for. You fling onto someone and then the raptor's attached to it.
Oh.
Sir, are you saying that you're throwing away your pocket bacon?
I mean, if it knows my enemy's face is alive, then that's a trade. I think that's a trade-off.
Throw away your pocket bacon. What is wrong with you?
Getting rid of both a dinosaur and bacon. What is this madman's plan?
Honestly, yes, I'm with you on this one, Freya. This is insanity. You're throwing away two perfectly good food groups. Almost extinct creatures and bacon.
Didn't mean it that way, but sure, we'll go with it.
You monster.
Oh god.
I mean, Tiberius doesn't eat meat, so...
I'm never gonna get over Dino Nuggets.
I mean, Dino Nuggets is amazing.
I really wish that they were the... Let me see where the monster links are all at.
Yeah, so to anyone watching, is this why you should probably discuss some things with your DM before the session?
Nonsense. Blindside them. Hit them with the full power of your fist of questions before
Okay.
the record.
So I'd say, at least right now, you probably have the time to learn at least one thing from these creatures. You can probably gather from what he's listed to you so far is that you could probably learn Drake Breath from the dragons, potentially. A wind variation of it, at least. As for the sheep and the cows, you're not. You can probably get Palm Cure from the sheep. But for the cows, you can't quite see them without seeing them first.
Hold on, let me check that. Is it right? Oh, okay, because those are more of monster mimicries. Okay. Okay, so I just want to be clear, are we talking about like actual spells or the monster mimicries?
That's for monster mimicry.
Okay.
But as for the spells themselves, you need to actually get closer to learn about the creatures first.
Okay.
Because they do have special spells for you.
You need to really get, up close and personal with them.
In that case, Rose would be more interested in learning about the dragons.
Okay. And the shepherd will kind of take you over to what looks to be stables. And indeed, there are large, almost hippogriff-looking creatures in there, but they're obviously dragons due to the fact that they don't have beaks. And their wings are kind of a mixture of scales and feathers. But they seem to be holstered up like horses are.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, just don't touch them on the rear ends. They don't like that.
Oh my.
I've
Disembowels poor Rose.
I've tend to notice that most lizardy creatures prefer you coming at them from the front.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Funny enough, you'll actually reach over to what looks to be a small barrel and pulls out what looks to be a couple of carrots. They're colored green though, so they're not normal carrots. And he's like, I mean, as long as you feed them this, they should be more than willing to let you touch them.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, I'll approach probably one of the larger of them, and I'll just gingerly offer out a carrot to it.
And it'll snag the whole carrot and crunch it down. No problems. You notice that these creatures have flatter teeth than normal dragons.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what would you like to do? Like, what are you trying? How are you trying to discern what these creatures can teach you?
I'll look back over to the shepherd, I guess. What do these creatures tend to do most of the day?
Well, if they're not carrying things, they're usually out grazing. They tend to pull carts most of the time. That's what they're used for.
I see. Do they... I mean, you said they're a dragon. I assume that they must have some command of magic of their own.
Well, yeah, just don't get bit by them or else you might get a mighty shock out of it.
Yeah, shock.
Yeah.
Rose is going to... Okay, let's try this. As Rose is petting the creature after feeding it, Rose is gonna slowly lean in more closely and is gonna just kind of peer directly into one of its eyes and just sort of observe it in a sort of a trance for a moment.
Okay, and what would you like to discern about it?
I think I'm gonna look mainly at its dexterity and constitution.
Its dexterity is not very great. In fact, it's actually probably worse than yours. It's not a very dexterous animal for being so large. It is very hardy, however, hardier than you are. But as you begin to kind of look into this creature more and learn more about it, you feel as if you've come to a new understanding of a new spell. Go ahead and add I think it's Shocking Touch into your spell list.
Shocking Grasp?
Shocking Grasp, there you go.
Alright. So, Shocking...
You can kind of discern as you kind of look at this creature that getting bitten by this thing usually means that they latch on and they just electrocute whatever they bite into. And you kind of are able to adapt that into your own ideal. And therefore you learn Shocking Grasp. I believe that's a cantrip.
Alright.
Now, does he need to bite things in order to do this?
I will allow him to figure that one out himself. In fact, he can interpret it any way he likes.
Hey, Tibbs, let me try something.
No!
Rose will look back over to the shepherd. Say, are these veggies safe for primordial consumption?
Yeah, as long as you peel them and wash them like any other vegetable.
Rose is going to just grab one and just, while it's still raw, try to kind of bite into it while focusing on the dragon's essence.
Bites into it like a normal carrot. Just a regular old carrot.
I was really thinking that would be more straightforward. Yeah.
I guess Rose doesn't like carrots.
But
Are you talking the fruit, the vegetable of the gods?
At least it wasn't an apple.
Oh yes, actually, I think I've discerned what I can about this this creature. It's actually been quite enlightening, getting up close to it here. Thanks, I guess, for taking or granting a stranger's request.
You'll learn quick and win that most people really don't care. I mean, this is a public place after all.
Right. Anyways, I'll go ahead and I'll leave you to doze back off.
And by the time you've already said that, he's already kind of leaned on his cane and is kind of already nodding off.
Man, for a place called Wind, things sure don't go too fast around here.
Nope. You can at least discern that the people of Wind tend to be a bit more laid back, more carefree, and more lazy compared to Fire. Especially compared to Fire, where things are a lot faster paced.
Oh, that's what happens when you're in a plane where you don't have Corvus in your life.
Yeah. I mean, considering their musical star is definitely different. Accordions.
But yeah, I'll go ahead and head back towards the shopping district where the others are.
Which leads us to Frias and her little group, her little Hapolitian tagalongs.
Hey.
I just imagine like Frias being that tired mom, both of them on a leash, and they're just running around her in circles.
Hey, Various isn't that bad.
Yeah, Varys
Not unless Tibbs just starts poking them wildly and running away.
They would only be rolling in the aisles, punching and kicking each other with horrible magic flying between the two of them. What's wrong with this?
Well, Various is padding along and occasionally glancing around.
There's a lot of food smells as the night market begins to shift to a much more active market in general. There's a lot of meats being grilled, a lot of vegetables out, and just a lot of food being made in general.
Various's stomach audibly growls.
Now, what is Frias specifically looking for? And is she actively trying to keep these two Hapolitians on a leash?
She's trying to keep them within eyesight. She trusts them, but doesn't completely trust both of them to be alone.
Okay. What exactly are you looking for in general, Frias? Any particular shops or stalls?
Probably general store for, medical supplies and see if they have lock-picking tools.
You definitely don't find any stalls dedicated to more general supplies. You'd have to find a more established building. Various, what are you looking for specifically?
He's sort of tagging along, but he's also been sort of looking for, still sort of, he can't help but look at the food, but he's also sort of keeping an eye out for, books and such, because it's Various.
We were just in a library!
I know, but that was a library with people that he's pretty sure would notice if he took some.
I wouldn't say you find books. You find some stalls that are dedicated to, like, scroll writing supplies, but not books and scrolls in general. That doesn't seem to be the place for such a thing. Tibbs, I know what you're looking for, and they're everywhere. There are plenty of stalls with, like, open grills, with, like, tons of meat being grilled, vegetables, but more importantly, there's several of these that have just big, giant barrels that are being tended to that obviously have been very free-flowing booze, as you see people constantly ordering, like, shots of what look to be a clear rice wine, ales. Everyone's having a good time. And there's not just Wind Primordials here. There's some outsiders. There's some Primordials from other planes. It's quite the nightlife. It's a big difference from the day.
What I'm understanding is
booze and food.
Yes.
Yes. And you see people that are sometimes just walking up to these stalls, sitting down, ordering, eating, drinking, and then just getting up and going to another.
Well, obviously they're of high society. That's how it works. Go ahead, Jin.
Tiberius.
Hmm?
As long as you meet us at the gate in about an hour to an hour and a half.
Excuse me.
Feel free.
I believe we were told 3 hours.
3 hours?
3 hours, yes.
Right. 3 hours.
And you're not going to enjoy any of this. You're just going to be boring and go around looking for reading material.
I'm going to get food, and I'm going to get things that we...
So, join me for some food. Freyas will even come. Make sure that you don't eat yourself into oblivion. And perhaps we can talk about the whole sister thing with a bit more lubrication between our friendship.
You see his nose wrinkle.
Now, please. That's what the problem is with you, Various. You always take things so personal. Just come enjoy a short meal. I'll ensure you get mushrooms or whatever fungi you enjoy, and we'll have a good talk with Freyas. Perhaps she's interested in knowing what life was like back at home.
He glances up to Freyas.
She looks down and is like, just humor him for now. We'll discuss the topics when we get there.
This is about humoring me. I'm doing this for your benefit too, Freyas. You have no idea what it's like being back from where we're from.
If you want to keep looking, Freyas, that's fine. I'll stay here.
No, I think food would actually do good. I was just waiting for my hand to get feeling again from the raptor.
You do consume food, don't you, Freyas? I'm still unsure. Primordials don't, but your kind do?
Yes, we do. Why do you think I've made you food before, and it was actually edible?
I thought it was simply because you were of the lower class, that's all. What?
She just shakes her head and it's like, Various, you go find the food. I'll follow you.
Tiberius.
Yeah.
From mine. And he starts to pad off looking for a good place to eat.
What? What?
Now, there's a lot of different places to eat. You pass by several places that seem to be serving little wrapped food things that look like dumplings. Some are deep fried, some are steamed, some are grilled. You've walked past several places that look to have some sort of fish being openly grilled on skewers. Same with meats. You've come by several that have vegetables as well.
I'd like to point out that every time they go by any food thing, Tiberius is saying, "Ooh, we should try some of that."
Mm-hmm. And almost all of them have liquor of some sort.
So he's now doubly saying we should try some of that.
Various, I think, will stop at one of the vegetable stalls.
Mm-hmm. And it's being run by what looks to be almost a, how do I describe this? They almost look like a large mantis in a way. So they have about like 4 different limbs that are tending to the grills in front of them. But they're obviously a wind primordial due to the fact that they still have a human-like look to them, at least in their facial region. So it's a little kind of uncanny weirdness to them, but they seem to be tending rather easily to their customers. They have a couple people here and there, but from the vegetables you can see there seems to be some large, long, thin ones that are on skewers that seem to be like zucchini-looking. There's whole corn, like literal whole corn being grilled as well there too. There's skewers full of mushrooms and some more, I would say more blocky looking things that seem to be white, but almost gelatinous in a way that are being grilled as well.
Tofu.
Tofu, mm-hmm.
And Various isn't even going to ask if the other two are interested in this one. He climbs up on a stool and bops down.
Various gladly joins because, hey, everything looks interesting.
Mm-hmm. And they seem to also be coating some things in a sauce, while some are only being salted. But they do look up at you and almost give a slight little inquisitive tilt of the head. Yes, what can I do for you? What would you like?
Surprise me, as long as it's not meaty.
Oh, that won't be a problem here. And they actually begin to skewer a few things. From the looks of it, they make a little tofu mushroom skewer and set at least 2 of those on the grill in front of you because they seem to have little personal grills per seat. And then they also put a thing of corn on there. And what looks to be almost these rolled green fruit oil-looking things. But they obviously smell salty and savory. And they seem to be tied up with a little piece of fiber.
And what do you take as payment?
Oh, we don't take payment here in the plains. As long as you clean up after your spot, then everything should be good.
Sounds good.
And they'll also turn to look at you, Tibbs, and also you, Frizz. Would you also like something?
Oh, yes, quite. Whatever he's having. And, do you have any, spirits?
Quite a few, actually. We have rice wine. We also have an ale that is brewed locally.
Excellent. One for each of us, please.
No, I don't need one.
Various, we survived quite a great bit of ordeal today. I suggest you take at least a little bit to savor the situation of being alive.
I don't want alcohol.
Consider it a thank you.
The being will, of course, get everything onto the girls in front of you, and you see it will actually pour several, I think a total of 3 glasses and set them in front of you 3, but it will wink to you, Various, and it's like, it's okay. And Various, if you want to investigate your drink real quick.
Alright,
That's high enough, but you kind of are inquisitive as to why they gave you a little wink, and so you kind of lean forward to kind of sniff and taste the drink, and you realize they gave you a non-alcoholic version.
Yay!
Much to Tibbs's, Tibbs probably wouldn't realize, since he was given a full tankard of the ale.
Let's be honest, Tibbs doesn't care.
Mm-hmm. And of course, one is set down in front of Frias as well. And from what you can tell from the grill, the mantis-looking creature sets what looks to be a metal tin down in front of them, as well as what looks to be a little basin of salt. And it's like, would you like your skewers salted or sauced?
Sauced, please.
Mm-hmm. And it's kind of a sweet soy sauce in a way.
I think that the sauce smells better than just salt right now.
Mm-hmm. And then they'll look at you 2, Tibbs.
Oh, why not both?
Daring. And they'll go ahead and kind of turn the skewers while taking what looks to be a paintbrush and brushes the sauce over both Frias's and Various's. And then on Tibbs, they take one of each of the skewers, will sauce them, and then take the other skewer and just cover it and sprinkle salt on it. Say 2 minutes each side, and then go ahead and enjoy. The grill will keep them nice and hot. And then they'll move on to other customers.
See, Varys, sometimes you just have to live a little.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Rose, I would say you do see the 3 of them at one of the stalls.
Right. Rose just heads over without a word and just gets into an empty stool next to them.
Various has sort of shut their eyes and is just sort of enjoying the smells a little bit, and also occasionally taking a drink.
Mm-hmm. And it's kind of a nice hoppy taste, but you can definitely tell there's no alcohol in it, so it's almost like that sweet yeasty beers? It's kind of like that, but it's got a nice bubbly texture to it, kind of like a
I'll
slightly
pretend I know what you mean.
Basically, okay, have you ever had have you ever had King's Hawaiian bread?
Yes.
It tastes like that in liquid form, and it's bubbly.
Okay.
There you go.
I don't drink alcohol, so
it's okay.
It's
all right. That's basically what it tastes like. It's a very sweet, but has that yeasty flavor behind it. So like a very sweet bread.
Bread juice.
You're basically drinking your bread juice, yeah. It's nice though. It's very pleasant, and it goes really well with the sweet soy sauce glaze on some of the skewers.
I mean, bread juice is an interesting way of describing it, though not wrong.
Yeah, that's exactly like some of the ancient beers. They'd the leftovers. They'd make it into a bread.
Its terminology was literally liquid bread.
But we are at our point where we take our break. Would you guys like to take your break now?
Yeah, we gotta put the kids to bed.
All right,
Sounds
then
good.
we'll be taking our 15-minute break right here and now.
Be right back.